You want 7 quotes you can use for the theme of kingship in Macbeth? Well, let's get into it then. In Act 1, Scene 3, the witches prophetically greet Macbeth with, "All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis. All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor. All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter." Not only does this structure the rest of the play, but it foreshadows what is to come for Macbeth, creating a sense of inevitability about Macbeth's unnatural kingship and motivating him in his course for the rest of the play. From Act 1, Scene 4, "Stars hide your fires, let not light see my black and deep desires." This rhyming couplet to me conveys the emotion that Macbeth has at this point. He is determined to kill the king, well, at least with his wife's support. Stars symbolise fate, but if they have to hide their fires, then it's not his natural fate that he's choosing. He wants to construct this artificial fate that the witches have prophesied for him at the very front of the play. Therefore, we know that Macbeth feels that he is more powerful than a god. He can decide his outcome rather than accept the one that has been given to him at birth as Thane of Glamis. Black and deep desires link to his subterfuge and determination to embrace this opportunity for all that it's worth. However, these are not desires he can obviously openly convey to the rest of the court. The other thanes would of course attack him for it. From Act 2, Scene 3, here lay Duncan his silver skin with his golden blood. Even in death, Duncan appears regal. Obviously, this juxtaposes with Macbeth's black and deep desires and treacherous actions, as his gashed stabs look like a breach in nature. Breach tells us that the natural order of things have now been broken, and the great chain of being, therefore, is no more, as Macbeth can now enter into his kingship, although it will be through force, intimidation, and conflict. From Act 3, Scene 1, Banquo says, "Thou hast it now, King Cawdor, Glamis, all." His soliloquy shows us his true depth of understanding the severity of the situation. He knows that Macbeth is an unnatural king. However, he does not challenge him. This is important. He knows that Macbeth's kingship will inadvertently lead to his own child ascending the throne. Fleance and Banquo as the root of kings, thus connected to King James, making him a natural kingship too. Like Duncan, Banquo's lineage belongs on the throne, yet this juxtaposed with Macbeth's temporary corruption of kingship as a position in society. In Act 3, Scene 1, we hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland not confessing, their cruel parricide filling their hearers with strange invention. Macbeth's keen to promote the concept that Donalbain and Malcolm are responsible for Duncan's regicide. However, this also suggests to me that he's already feeling insecure and unsure of how to lead in his kingship. For Banquo knows the truth and is choosing not to confront him about it. Therefore, Macbeth's fear of losing his crown foreshadows what is to come, that the crown does not naturally belong on his head, therefore it cannot remain. In Act 4, Scene 1, Macbeth seeks out the witches, again another sign that his kingship is corrupt. In Act 1, Scene 3, they sought him out, yet now he must find them to support his kingship and remain on the throne. "I conjure you by which you profess" from Act 4, Scene 1 shows us now that Macbeth, as a king, feels he can command the witches. Is that wise? Yet it also tells us his growing insecurity about remaining on the throne. He wishes to know who or what his next enemy is so he can defeat it in advance. Therefore, the witches now predict the outcome of the play, giving us a clear structure as to how Macbeth will meet his downfall and his kingship be destroyed. Plus, what will the line stretch out to the crack of doom confirms how Banquo's lineage actually belongs on the throne. Therefore, Banquo, as a natural king, can secure Fleance's future. Even though he sacrificed his life to protect him, his future, his lineage will always be more powerful than Macbeth, creating a cyclical structure back to Act 1, Scene 3. And finally, from Act 5, Scene 5, "Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player, that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and is heard no more." Macbeth's final soliloquy, prior to his death, shows us he finally realises that his pursuit of power and status has been completely pointless. His metaphor of life as a walking shadow and him as a poor player amplifies how insignificant Macbeth is over time. His temporary kingship has in fact corrupted Scotland, but enabled Malcolm to be even more celebrated as a returning king, as he restores the great chain of being, thus only adding to Malcolm's greatness in the longer term. Therefore, Shakespeare's propaganda play, in my opinion, supporting King James's ascent to the English throne, tells us we must trust what God has in store for us, for the great chain of being must never be broken. We must accept it and live by it. Therefore, we can all say, what's fair is foul and foul is fair. You want 5 Jekyll and Hyde quotes that can be